Hello, this one is for all my Star Wars nerds out there. I wanted to review this book real quick. Star Wars, Darth Bane, Path of Destruction. It was written by Drew Karpyshyn, and it was amazing. I strongly recommend it if you haven't read it. It's not a new book. It came out in 2006, but it is not a part of canon. It is a part of Legends. So technically what they say is it's not real Star Wars history, but I read it as if it was, because the book, quick synopsis, the book takes place 1,000 years before any of the Star Wars movies took place. So it didn't contradict or confuse any of the storylines because it happened so long ago. And I just thought this character, Darth Bane, was just absolutely awesome. He's just so badass. And if you're a fan of the villains or the bad guy like I am, he's my new favorite. And I've only read, there's 3 books. This is the first one, but I'm getting in the mail the second one. It should be coming today, actually. It's just taken a while with all this coronavirus stuff going on, but I am so excited to get and start reading it. I devoured this book in less than a week. And I go to school and online, and I got a lot of stuff I do, so I don't really read during the day. So I was staying up until 3 in the morning just reading chapter after chapter, because I couldn't put it down. It was so good. So it's about this man who basically is a slave. He mines all day, all night to pay back debts that his father, who died, had left for him to pay, basically. And his father abused him and was a real piece of shit. And of course he grew up being angry, he was just a perfect candidate for someone who was going to go to the dark side anyway. And as he grew up, he just became so strong, this huge mountain of a man. And he gets into some trouble and then has to basically go on the run. He never really had he didn't think too much about the Republic or the Empire or the Sith or the Jedi. He just had really no, I guess he had no opinions on the matter at all, really. He didn't really care. But he had to leave, and he fled his home and joined the Sith army. Basically. So he did that for about a year, and he was obviously so good at it, great physical shape, strong man. He actually ended up leading, certain soldiers. He became kind of high on the totem pole. And after a year, he gets into some trouble again because he puts his hand on an officer that is above him, and he catches the eye of one Sith master. And what was so cool about this book is they explain how the Sith were long ago, and it kind of put a whole different twist on what we all know. We all know there's this Sith master and there's an apprentice, but in this book there was a ton of Sith masters, and they were all equal. One wasn't higher than the other. They did not use the term Darth before any name. It was frowned upon, because long before that, they did have the rule of 2. So you had your Sith master and your apprentice. And it started, and then using the term Darth kind of was a term of power. So they stopped using it because people were getting angry and trying to kill, the people above them. But that's what Sith do. That's what we know. We like that. I mean, I do personally anyway. I think it's just a cool, cool concept. And they went away with that, thinking that they would be better off and would be stronger if they were all treated each other as equal, because there would be more Sith masters. So when this one Sith master gets a hold of Bane and brings him to the academy to train to be a Sith master, he goes, obviously, and quickly, outranks all, he quickly becomes ahead of all the other pupils and all the other, students there, and quickly shows his strengths. And Because he always, in the back of his mind, knew something was different about him, because he can kind of sense when things are going to happen before they do, but that was just the Force. You know, he just had no idea, like, he didn't know anything about it. So while in this academy, like, he starts really diving into and reading the archives of all the ancestors, all the past Sith. And because he was kind of a loner, he kept to himself, you know, he didn't obviously make friends. Like, that's just how he was. And he just reads book after book about all these past Sith, including Darth Revan. And he starts reading about, you know, just the term Darth, and like what it meant, and how the Sith, you know, worked, you know, using cunning, using deceit, using manipulation to gain power and to get what they want. And he just started to become really angry, like, and not understanding how this is working and why they got away with all those old laws and are doing it this way. Because as he read more, he realized, like, this is what it's supposed to be like. This is what it's supposed to be. Because he felt his power growing. And he knew at the end of the day, like, you can say we're all equal, but we're not. Like, I'm more powerful than most of you. So, like, why shouldn't there be one person to basically call the shots? So that begins to grow. He starts to rebel a little bit, ends up, like, leaving the academy. And, like, I don't want to spoil anything, because if, you know, like, you're starting to get into, like, the Star Wars expanded universe and, like, want to read more about it, like, I highly recommend this book. Before this, I read Darth Plagueis. I believe the author is James Lucerne. And that's just another thing. Like, if you're a fan of, like, some backstories and how things went down, like, before, like, that, like, I truly enjoy reading a backstory and wanting to know everything. Like, how did this happen? Like, how did he become this way? Like, you know, all of those pieces of the puzzle. Like, Darth Plagueis talks a lot about Palpatine, because in the movies, Palpatine, he brings up Darth Plagueis. So it's a name we recognize, and it talks about him, but it mostly talks about how Palpatine became Palpatine, and all the way from a young age. And, like, you'll know, like, if you read the book, like, you know, like, Palpatine was, like, born to be a Sith Lord. Like, he was always cold-blooded, never had a heart, like, and I just find it so cool how they explain that. Like, it just made sense. Like, there was no talking him into the dark side. Like, he was like, I'm ready for it. This is what I'm made for. But Darth Bane is a little different. Like, he's not so much like Anakin Skywalker, you know, where, like, he really battles all throughout, you know, his life, like, with the dark side, you know, and doing the right thing. Like, Darth Bane, you kind of see a little, like, the glimpses of humanity where he cares about certain things and fights and battles with himself when he hurts people. But, like, then you see that switch where he completely concedes to the dark side and there's, like, no turning back. And he was the one who basically brought back the rule of two. So this book is just really cool because it shows how you had the Brotherhood of Darkness, which were the Sith armies, you know, the Sith Lords, and then you had our Army of Light, which were the Jedi. But I mean, it compares them both because they're at this, like, in the middle of this war, and they're battling each other, but it just seems so, like, they're the same. Like, there's not a lot that makes them different from each other. You know, General Hoth and Khan, who's running the Brotherhood of Darkness, like, they're all, you know, struggling with the same things. Trying to figure out battle strategies, stressing about leading and what they're going to do next, and how they're going to win this war, and how they're going to fight with their weapons. And it was just basically, like, when I was reading it, I was imagining, like, a World War II movie. Like, and it didn't really, and it just showed, like, wow, it used to really be like that, where, like, there wasn't any, like, big difference on, like, oh my god, the Sith are so powerful and cunning and just, like, hold nothing back, they're ruthless, like, because they were both at war, they were both doing the same thing. So here comes Bane, and he's just like, all these people are fucking idiots, basically. They're idiots, they don't know what they're doing, and they're in denial, and they just need to go. So, like, after gaining as much knowledge as he could to be a Sith Lord, and reading all the archives of the past Siths, and gaining all that knowledge of how things should be, he comes to the realization, like, I'm going to change this all up. So, like, the ending of this book, like, I mean, I'm not going to give too much away, but if you don't want to know anything, I wouldn't continue listening. But, like, in this book, he meets a character. Her name is Githani, or Githany. I don't know how to pronounce it, but I find her character so cool. She used to be a Jedi apprentice, and then she goes to the dark side because she favors it, and she was, like, basically born for it, too. She is manipulative. She's sneaky. She's conniving. So in your mind the whole time, you're thinking, like, if Darth Bane is going to pull this off, like, he's going to need an apprentice, and she's, like, a perfect fit. But I'm not going to say what happens in the end, but this book surprised me all throughout. Like, every chapter was exciting. I love, unpredictable things. I love being surprised, and this is what this book did. And in the end, Darth Bane goes into where they're at war and battling, and he goes to Khan and just, like, manipulates the shit out of him, making him think it's all his idea. Like, yeah, you're doing a great job, but basically you should do this. So he basically tricks, and manipulates him into thinking, like, into basically destroying all of the Brotherhood, all of the Sith Lords, by conducting this humongous weapon that is basically like a nuclear bomb to destroy the Jedi, not realizing, or maybe realizing, that there's a possibility that it'll destroy all the Sith as well once they detonate it, I guess you would say. Like, once they put it into motion, anyone within a vicinity, destroyed. But he had Khan thinking, like, there's a possibility you'll live if you're strong enough, basically. But Bane knew, like, they're all gonna die. And he literally didn't have to lift a finger. He sat down, sat back, waited at the army base while they all went to go do this, thought bomb, it was called. And he just sat back where he wasn't going to be anywhere near it, and he wasn't going to be killed. He didn't have to help to do it. And all in all, he made him think that it was the other guy's idea. Was just genius. And that's, like, what a Sith does. So, like, I thought it was so cool. And basically he was just sat back, and then so it begins his reign of, like, basically being the only Sith Lord, gaining an apprentice, because he believes, just like all the Sith before in the past believed, there should be one Sith Lord to have all this power, and then one more to crave it, and that's it. And he brought back, that sneaky, like, just like how you if you read Darth Plagueis and you learn more about Palpatine, and you even see in the movies, episodes 1, 2, and 3, like, the whole time this dude who is a powerful Sith Lord and is living under the radar, hiding in plain sight, nobody knows what he really is, and he's slowly growing, like, in power and making everyone think he's this great guy that wants great things, and they all basically vote for him to have all this power. Come to find out, he's a Sith Lord who now can make all these huge decisions, and they had no idea. But that's the way of the Sith. Like, I'm going to slowly climb up this ladder, and I'm going to gain all this power, and I'm going to do it right in your face, and you're not even going to realize I'm doing it. Like, and that just kind of shows with Darth Bane too. Like, he manipulates and literally gets away with all of it and doesn't have to lift a finger. And I thought that was just so cool. And especially reading, like, how he came to be and his slow transit. Like, it happened fairly quickly, but in all honesty, I think the pace was good, because he was already pretty angry. He already kind of fit the criteria. And it kind of showed his bits of, like, battling with himself and his humanity, to that, like, switch of, like, I'm going full throttle. Like, this is it. This is how things are supposed to be. Everyone doesn't know what they're talking about, basically. And he does it. So, like, this first book ends pretty well with, like, wanting more. Like, it ends with, okay, the Sith Lords are done. I should be the only Sith Lord here. Like, the Rule of Two is coming back. And the second book is called Rule of Two. So we obviously get to see, him and how he's going to start with his new apprentice and all of that. And I just thought, even though it's not a part of the canon, like, I just think it's so cool, and I just wanted to share this video also because I read Darth Plagueis last year. I've always been a fan of the movies, obviously, watched it more than once, but I have become like so intrigued with like the expanded Star Wars universe, and so I read Darth Plagueis, loved it, you know, got to learn a lot more about Palpatine, and then my friend from work actually recommended this book because he heard how interested I was about Darth Plagueis and learning more. And so he actually gave this to me, and I ordered the second book because I finished it so quickly. And inside he actually wrote, "To Sarah, caution when journeying through the dark side." And that's so true, because now I'm like, I can't put anything down and I just want to know more. So if anyone out there is a Star Wars nerd and obviously knows more than I do, I'm going to read the next 2 books of the Darth Bane series, but if we have any suggestions on what else I should read, because I want to know as much as I can and get as much as I can, because I find the Star Wars universe so intriguing, and all these characters, especially, you know, the Sith Lords. Like, if you know of any other books that I should definitely pick up to read, I absolutely love this. 10 out of 10. If you're at all a fan, you don't even have to be a huge fan like of Star Wars, but like this character, he is like my new favorite. Awesome. Like, so yep, I mostly was just rambling and really excited about this book. I hope I didn't give too much away, but thank you for listening. I hope you liked it. If you did, just hit the like button for me. And yeah, so just comment on the bottom if you guys have any other, you know, suggestions for me to read, because I'm definitely interested and want to know more. But that's all I got. Thanks.